Hey, Sox fans. Welcome to Good Guys Talk Back, a local fan-centric Chicago White Sox podcast, hosted by Nick Murawski and Pat Hester.
Yeah, Thunder! Sox fans, are you alive? Can you believe it? This is unreal. Hopefully it's real. We got so much to talk about. Welcome back to Good Guys Talk Back. Hey, this is episode 328. This is season 8. We've been doing it for a long time. And sometimes these December episodes, these winter episodes are rough, and we've got some fun things to discuss here. Just a few days before Christmas, and boy, it feels like we received a nice gift as Sox fans. Thank you so much for joining us here live on our Good Guys Talk Back YouTube channel. Subscribe to that channel. Pass it along to other Sox fans. Audio available absolutely everywhere you find your podcasts. With me, as always, my best friend for a long, long time. He is a diehard Sox fan. Pat Hester, hello, sir.
Nick, you know it's a good start to the show. I mean, the chat is already alive and going. And and you said it. Sometimes, depending, our shows in the off season are so dependent upon what the team that we're talking about does. If there's nothing going on, it's tough, right, for us to come up with content. I mean, you and I we've done it before. We can have a conversation for an hour and we show, and we hope people enjoy what we put out there. But it is a little bit nicer. I'm not going to lie, when there are things to discuss, and we have things to discuss. Obviously, with the big signing of Murawski, I'm going to butcher the name for a while. He put on social media, just call me Moon. Moon. I mean, it's Mun. Maybe I'll get that right later on.
Yeah.
Number 1 picks in the house. I mean, there are things to discuss, Nick.
Yeah. You're right. A lot of, when people find out that I do a Chicago White Sox podcast and it actually runs through the off season, the question they always ask is, what in God's name do you talk about? Are you kidding me about the White Sox? What are you discussing? And a lot of the times it's, the hypotheticals, and it's rumors, of course. And and every now and then you get a real juicy, fun episode, and that's what we got here. So thank you so much to so many folks that are already in here. Love the chat, love the excitement. It's fun. It is really fun. Anytime you got I don't know how to. I'll butcher this name. And in anybody with a Midwestern Chicago accent that's being asked to pronounce some of these things, it's going to be tough. So Mooner, let's call him Moon. That's fine.
Mooner. We're going with Mooner. Okay.
Mooner.
Shoot to the Mooner.
So the clock's ticking down here for Muntaka Murakami. And, he's got this Monday deadline, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And I thought maybe we push the episode to Monday because there were some rumors. Maybe we wait it out and see if this is going to actually happen. I hate to have such a cold episode right away, especially if he signs on Monday. But here he is signing before that deadline. Sox get this 25-year-old slugger, 2-time MVP in Japan, Triple Crown winner at 22 years old, the youngest in their history. 56 home run season on the resume. Olympic and WBC gold medalist. It's a 2-year, $34 million deal. Your reactions, maybe thoughts over the last couple days when maybe things started to get a little warmer. I would say last night is that insane Bears game was happening. There were, some stuff on social media that was trying to elbow its way in, which you weren't going to be able to get in last night because it was all Bears and it should have been. But then this morning it got, a little bit more crowded with some Sox stuff. And just your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Nick, I haven't been following White Sox rumor mill as closely as I normally would in the offseason. I think maybe from our last episode where we talked, what are the Sox going to do? They're not going to spend money. So it's going to be trades. It's going to be some small moves here or there. It's going to be, shopping on the lower shelf, if you will. It somewhat surprised me. And I think I had talked with an old colleague, Jordan Sherwood, big Sox fan at ESPN Chicago on the sales side. He sells White Sox radio, and he was saying, "Hey, what do you think about these rumors about this Japanese phenom?" And I thought, nah, I'm not going to even. I don't even want to think about it because, maybe I've been burned by the rumor mill in the past, and you get your hopes up, and then you start going down these. And maybe I'm just getting older, just too busy, but. Then, and the old me would have been like, okay, I'm going to start researching this person and see what they're all about. I obviously have never seen this guy play. So I kind of almost put it out of sight, out of mind. I didn't really want to believe it. And I also thought, I maybe in retrospect, and I'm sure we'll break this down, but you look at the terms of the deal, a 2-year deal, it doesn't scream to me a 2-year deal like a team that's kind of in there's still this really slow rebuilding phase. This seems like something that you do if you want to be aggressive. So that, I think, gets me more excited than anything else.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that deal. Not that we're experts on deals, but and this is just, I'm just trying to, talk this out because it is a little odd to me. And maybe you and a lot of other lifelong Sox fans. Here's a spot that we need. Okay. Plays third, but probably first base. That's where we're going to have him. We need a first baseman, a left-handed power hitting first baseman. And, Sox don't usually get their guy or a guy, especially a guy that's highly touted to come over to the States to play Major League Baseball. You could think of Abreu, but did you hear a ton about Abreu like leading up to, or was it just like, oh, the Sox got this really interesting character,
Yeah.
And it wasn't like this, and maybe social media wasn't like what it is, of course, now. But I'm starting to I can't help but go this way. Did the Sox really beat out all these teams, or were there some teams that just said, you know what, I don't know if this guy is as good as everybody's saying. We don't really want to invest. We don't quite need that position. Although if he's a stud like he is, you'll find a way to get him in your lineup. Or was it the Sox really being that aggressive and Murakami chose the Sox, or did he maybe just not have a lot of options to go after? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little strange. I'd like to look, and I don't know. I don't know what other players have really. What is this kind of the norm for guys coming over from Japan or from overseas? And it's like, oh, let's get them in and see how they do. And it's kind of like a show me type of contract, and then we kind of negotiate a longer term. Somewhere in year 2. I don't know. It's very, I don't think I can remember, having these kind of conversations before with a guy that's, I mean, you read the resume. It's quite impressive, Nick. I mean, and the Japanese league these days is not what it once was, maybe 20 years ago, where you go, okay, we'll see if the stuff plays. That's a totally different league, and the talent level over there is not nearly what it is here. It's on par, if not better than Major League Baseball in some senses. I mean, baseball in Japan is the real deal. So these are legit numbers that you're showing up here. So I don't know. It's hard for me to put my finger on it, but all I can tell you is, you're going to tell me you're going to plop a guy that has the potential. Again, it was in a different league, but has the potential of hitting 40 plus home runs from the left side, a thing of need that we've had for a long, long time. And you think about the current left-handed thump that we have in the lineup, and you add this and plop it in there. I mean, you really now, if things pan out, have a pretty balanced lineup in terms of right-handed and left-handed power. That is something that we've been looking for. So if it doesn't work out, you can say, well, it was just a 2-year deal. If it does, then I hope you're ready to come back with the paycheck again and maybe look to do something creative down the line because if again, I think the most interesting part is that it's a 2-year deal from both standpoints, right? From the Sox standpoint, I don't think you spend $34 million on a 2-year deal if you aren't planning on winning something in year 2. Am I crazy?
Well, that's the other thing about it is the years are interesting because I don't know I don't see the Sox absolutely competing in 2 years. I don't know. I feel like maybe 3.
I don't, but here's what I was thinking about, Nick. And again, maybe I'm just listen, the last 24 hours, if you're a White Sox and a Bears fan over the last 24 hours, you are just, I'm not literally, I know I'm having a beer tonight, but I am not literally drunk, but I'm drunk on just fandemonium right now.
Yeah, sure.
And I'd like to think that if you're doing this, it tells me, again, I'm not expecting them to go out and spend top dollar on the best starting pitcher that could be possibly out there. Again, which I haven't really researched because I haven't really thought the Sox are going to do anything. But I'd have to think this signals other things that they want to do to win in the short term, which is not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I still don't think they're going after some of the top arms that are out there to pay that top price. I think you said it well, and I wanted to allude to it too with Murawski is say this guy mashes even after 1 year. Are the Sox prepared to try to re-sign him, or is this just for Murawski and his agent, his team, so to speak, of, hey, I go to the Sox, I can hit in that ballpark. I can step right in and I can slug and I can showcase myself. And then I'm going to get paid by another team, a place where I really want to go to, perhaps, that is an absolute win now. Now, in 2 to 3 years, if the Sox continue to flesh things out, like AJ talked about, Brzezinski, that is, which I want to get to his comments in a little bit, and they follow that script, something that they never even came close to in the previous regime, maybe he thinks differently and says, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. But you also got to pay the man, all right? He's not just the goodness of his heart say, well, you'll figure something out. So I'm looking at it in a couple different ways, and maybe I shouldn't be that analytical, but as a lifelong Sox fan, I got to say, whoa, wait a second, really, us? Well, wait, there's got to be something to this,
Yeah, but what's the catch here? Like, what's
right?
This is a bait and switch type of thing. But there's money to be spent, right? The payroll is got to be pretty low outside of the Benintendi contract and the option that you just picked up on Lubob. So, I mean, you're not spending a ton of money. The annual salary of the team has got to be pretty low. You've got a lot of young, controllable players currently on the roster. So you have the flexibility to go out and make this type of deal. And again, you've got guys that you're not going to have to pay a ton of money to for quite some time. So again, it's all very, very very not expected. Not during the Christmas season, Nick, sometimes you get things you don't expect. Sometimes you get from that one aunt that has given traditionally terrible gifts. She's like, wow, this is a really thoughtful, age appropriate, gender appropriate gift that I've received from my aunt. This never happened.
Seems like you put some thought into it here.
It seems like maybe you didn't buy this in June because you saw it and then it got stored away.
It's the season to believe. It's the season of miracles. And it's just very the Sox are being very un-Sox-like, man. You're being very un-White Sox-like here, and I kind of like it. I just am worried if I'm going to get used to it, and then but I and then nothing's going to happen. But so you pencil Murawski in or Mooner, whatever we're going to name the young man. You put him in at first base.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Whoa, no.
Oh, well,
Lenine Sosa.
My best friend
Sosa.
was supposed to be there.
What is Lenine Sosa? What is going to happen to you?
We're gonna have to find a spot, I guess, Nick.
Find a spot for the
center
bat.
field when Robert gets traded.
And you know what? And that is, it's like that is happening, right? I mean, the Sox seem to want. If we're believing the same sources that said the Murawski is going to the White Sox, well, then you have to believe these sources when they say the Sox want to move Robert.
Yeah.
And you can't say, well, what about the out? I get it. You need outfielders. That's part of the baseball strategy. You got to have base. You
can't just say if you hit it to center field, it's an automatic out because we don't have a person out there.
You gotta have some outfilders. And I know, Benintendi, not the greatest out there in left. I don't know who's going to play right. And you get rid of Robert Jr. in center. And you throw Sosa out there? Do you ask him to, try to learn the position? You got Montgomery that's a bit of ways away, but he's coming up the pipeline. It sure feels like it. My thing is, if an organization wants to get rid of a player and is trying to trade, and then there's been partners mentioned in all different ways. You hear the Mets. I know the Pirates were kind of engaged.
Weren't the Orioles? Wasn't the Mets, Orioles, and that
Phillies? A lot of teams out in the East that might not have injury reports yet. They might not have received.
It's a little delayed.
The NL East might not be able to read injury reports.
There's a time zone difference, Nick. I mean, it might be a little bit on tape delay. Right? Yeah.
But anyway, I get it. You don't know who's going to be out there in the outfield, and you want to just let's keep Robert around and see how he is in this lineup with Moon. I mean, that is nice, but to think that they could get some real pitching from Robert, that really intrigues me. If they want to move Robert, just move him. I'm tired of this. Mm-hmm. Will they? Won't they? Is it going to happen? If they keep saying it, just do it already. Let's end it. Who's to say it's right or wrong? You look and read what other fan bases say about Robert Jr. and they're like, why do we want Robert Jr.?
Yeah.
Why do we want to try to fix this player? Why are we going to pay that much money to take a chance on hope, on potential, on what he could be long term, and that's what the White Sox organization has kept saying is we know what we have. Do you? You know what you kind of have. You know what he could be, but that's not anything that you're going to get the top of the top for.
Yeah.
If we could figure out a way to get some pitching, we desperately need pitching, starting and bullpen. If you think you're going to start putting something together here in the next couple of years, man, pull the trigger already and just end it.
So you're saying it should end of its own momentum. Is that what you're saying?
I used volition, but
same thing.
Same thing.
Okay, let me say this. I doubt that this. But if it's me as the general manager and I'm trying to move him, I'd say, listen, we've seen what has happened in recent history with us trading a player that we've had that obviously needed a change of address. His name is Andrew Vaughn. Looks what he's done for the Milwaukee Brewers. Yeah. I think that Lou Bob is the next Andrew Vaughn for you. Reds, Pirates, Mets.
Yeah.
What say you? He just needs a change of pace.
That's an interesting PowerPoint presentation. to pitch Luis Robert Jr., you're going to put a compilation cassette VHS on Andrew Vaughn. And look at this.
And it would be so Sox to put it on the VHS and find a VCR. Yes.
Wait a second. Didn't you guys just land the mooner? And you're putting this on VHS?
Yeah,
I don't get you guys. I don't get what you guys are doing here. You're doing this. You're spotting dimes. You're eating onions. What's happening here? You get a compilation together of Andrew Vaughn and you say, look what we couldn't do for this guy. And look what he's doing somewhere else. Could be you with Luis Robert Jr. Check that out. See, other guys can excel. I like it, Pat. That's thinking outside the box.
Well, sometimes you have to be honest with yourself and say, self-scouting, right? Self-scouting tells me we couldn't get the most out of that guy. We couldn't get the most out of this guy either. He really needs a change of address, and I think he's gonna run like a deer in New York and track down balls and hit balls, and then the apple's gonna come out of the hat for you a lot of times, probably 50 times for him.
50, that's a lot of bushels.
Well,
yeah, that
is the big apple.
It is, Edward. I can't figure that out. I can't make a guess anymore. Will he be in the starting lineup, for the Sox come opening day? Are they going to wait and try to really pray that he has just an amazing first half? You got to have an amazing first half, for what you want to get.
But it seems like there's a lot of smoke now. Is that not real smoke? Because it's more than I thought I'd be.
What doesn't it feel like and smell like the smoke of the Garrett Crochet thing? Weren't they really adamant about we're moving Garrett Crochet?
Yeah, they were. There was no like, maybe we will, maybe we. It was just like we are going to move this gentleman. Yeah, we are intent on moving him. Nobody should be surprised when we do move him, and it's going to happen. So buckle up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, stay tuned. It's you're hearing all this stuff, and it just sounds like the Sox aren't done. And I guess you got to believe that after what just happened with Murawski. If these are the reports that are coming out, maybe it is going to be a little bit more. It was kind of boring for a while, and then all of a sudden, the lottery came along, and that rocked everybody's world, and now we've got this thing, and
no pun intended,
right? And who knows? It's only late December, plenty of time for other things to happen. So speaking of the lottery, okay, and this is what I loved about this whole situation, and I get the reason, because he was a former number one draft back in 77. The least excitable person in White Sox world, Harold Baines.
No, not just White Sox world. the entire world.
In all of the world. The least excitable person is the rep that we send for an opportunity to get the number one pick. And I get it. Of course, I understand he was a former number one. And a White Sox legend, a true
and a Hall of Famer,
and a Hall of Famer, no doubter. So I get it, but it's just so funny to me that he looked so uncomfortable when the White Sox got that number one pick, when the ping pong balls fell our way. Harold, I could just see Harold when he was approached, just please don't make me do this, please don't make me. Let's get Smiling Jim Thome, the nicest man in the world. He's a legend.
Ron Kittle would have done it for some Murawski pizza, for Christ's sake.
Ron, we will get you. What are you having the family over for the holidays? Let us know. We will get you all the. We'll get you the deep dish. We'll get you the thin. Whatever Aurelio's pizzas you want. We'll get you a bunch of scrap lumber. You can build a bunch of benches and other things.
Those benches are nice.
They are beautiful. Well lacquered. He does a nice job. Please just help us out here, because Harold won't. Harold just doesn't want to. He's uncomfortable. He doesn't want. But Harold went, and look what happened. Rock Cholowski. How about that name?
Oh man, man after your own heart, right there.
Wow. I've heard people say it's Ukrainian. I'm going to pretend it's maybe 40% Ukrainian, 60% Polish. I don't. We'll just say it for the because no one knows. We'll just say it right now, and then someone will prove us wrong later. But for now,
Gene Honda will probably let you know for sure.
Gene will always. Gene's going to let us know on the Mooner. He'll let us know how to pronounce that. And on Rock, we'll figure that. So we can all just guess what the pronunciation is. Even if a player tells us how their name is pronounced, you don't know how your name is pronounced until Gene tells you how to pronounce it.
He'll put it through the Gene filter. after he's had a couple unfiltered cigarettes, and then it'll spit out what your actual name is.
He'll let you know. You'll find out on opening day how to actually pronounce your name. It'll be fun for everyone. So Rock Chalowski, UCLA shortstop. This is what Chris Getz had to say at the after Harold Baines got all kinds of excited. It's a significant event for us. I love that line. It's a significant event for us, Getz said. It can't be understated how important it is. We've been hard at work bringing talent into the organization in different ways, and the amateur draft is an obvious avenue.
It's an obvious. I don't think anybody knew that it's an obvious avenue. We may have the upper hand on everyone else.
I think I figured out a way for us to get better, and it's the number one pick, folks. Sorry I brought you in. I know a lot of you were on vacation. You had to cut things short, but I needed you to hear it face to face. This is what's happening. This is how we can do it. So it's an avenue. It is an avenue, not a parkway, not a side street. It is an avenue. And this shortstop here from UCLA, Rock, people are saying he's a can't miss talent.
That makes me worried.
But one of the best shortstops in 20 years. Have you heard that one?
In 20 years at UCLA, or just 20 years in all of recorded baseball history?
I think in as long as the shortstop position
in the world, like
tracked.
Harold Baines
probably
is the most least excitable person in the world.
Yeah,
this is the best shortstop in the world.
I think that's how I'm reading it. I'm reading it like that. So that is you got to get excited for that.
I am excited because when you read things, Nick, because I don't, it gets me excited, and it goes through your filter, and you understand things. So that's great. It plays things like things in my head start to play around. So, okay, well, Colson's already at short, so you're moving him over to third. I mean, this obviously he's got to get here and get his way into the big leagues. Obviously, he's not going to start on day one by any means, but number one picks, I don't think just sit on the sidelines. You want to get them moved up sooner rather than later. I understand that. Baseball's a little bit different than other sports, but boy, oh boy, that's something to think about. I mean, you talk about, again, the young talent that this team already has, adding a piece like what we've talked about with Mooner, and now being the ability to add the quote unquote best shortstop in the entire universe, at least in the last 20 years.
The last 20 years, yeah.
I mean, that's something. It's very exciting. It's something to look forward to. And you mentioned Montgomery before, and he's not even up here yet, and he's kind of on the fast track. Boy, oh boy. I mean, it makes me go back to what I talked about before with Mooner, with the 2-year deal. Like, is this more of a win now mentality with the way that the young talent performed at the end of the last year, going, maybe this changes our plans a little bit, guys. Again, we are in the ever forgiving AL Central. Maybe it's time to push a little bit faster or quicker than we thought we'd have to push, because we have some legit talent here now. If we surround them a little bit, I'm telling you, I'm drunk on fandom right now.
Sure.
I said it at the end of last season, and I somewhat believe it. I think 81 and 81 is a real probability.
Oh, I thought you really believed it. You just telling me.
I do believe it.
Okay.
I do believe it.
You got to believe it now after what's happening.
Man, maybe I really should put the Stones out there and go a little higher. I mean, we really should, Nick. We really, really need to look into the over-under and get that figured out. And
get it now. Get it soon.
Think about putting whatever Christmas bonus you might be getting, and you and I combine that and just win this whole damn thing and go retire somewhere.
Yeah, that sounds really. That sounds magical.
Fiscally responsible is what I call it.
I wonder, hey, look, Moon, I like their aggressiveness. I like that the Sox went out and they addressed a need, left-handed power, play first base. Who knows how he's going to do in Major League Baseball? We don't know. We don't know yet. We don't know if he can make, the jump. Some have done it really well. We've had, players like Tadahito Iguchi. That was a long time ago, but they made the jump and they weren't, amazing. They were exactly what we needed them to be, and it didn't look like the stage and the lights were too bright for Tadahito Iguchi. For a while for Shingo. There have been other athletes from all over the world that have come over to Major League Baseball, and they have Jose Abreu, we were just talking about, have assimilated really well. I'm excited that the Sox, didn't leave this offseason and we'll figure first base out. Someone will step up. We'll get that. Someone will win that position. We got a lot of great prospects. There's a lot of young talent. You never know what can happen. They went out and they got a guy that was available, and they got them to come to the South Side. We'll find out if he can hit. I hope he can hit. That'd be really disappointing, but it's only a 2-year deal, like you had said.
Yeah. So now, once Rock gets here, how much are you going to be paying attention to that? How much are you going to be tuned into that development as it occurs? I mean, are we going to be locked into that?
I think you have to.
Yeah.
I haven't been that locked into some of the other younger guys, Schultz and Smith and Montgomery, Braden Montgomery. I was paying attention rather closely to Colson. But I think you got to, for the way this guy's getting hyped up, Rock, I mean, you got to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But baseball is such a funny sport. In football, you got an unbelievable number one, and most of the time there's going to be impact. Not all the time.
Yeah. Well, you expect it. I mean, if you've got the number one pick, even nowadays, if it's a quarterback, it's typically not a sit behind whoever your veteran is and let them learn. And it's typically doesn't happen like it has for the Green Bay Packers for years, where you bring a guy in, you draft them, they sit for 2 years, they learn, and then they get their opportunity from the last Hall of that they had in the organization. Mostly it's like, situations like the Bears and the Browns, where it's like, we have to start this guy now, whether they're ready or not. And if you're drafting a position outside of quarterback, you sure as hell better have them be an impact player that's going to make a difference on your team. So again, baseball is different, but we rattle off, and I can't remember them all now, but you had talked about the number one picks of most recent history. And there was a lot of impact players on that list, Nick. Some, a good handful of them pitchers, but there's a lot of impact players on that list that weren't hanging around the minor leagues for years, right? Those were guys that were on the fast track to the major league level. So again, pitchers, position players, maybe a little bit different, might take more time for guys to find their way, position players, at the plate for sure. But depending on their defense, the defense, should, in theory, always be there. Again, it's going to be interesting to watch. But again, that's the thing. I say that it's going to be interesting to watch. At least it's interesting to watch, right?
Exactly.
It could be.
Yeah.
Again, this is kind of the fun part of the rebuild, is this part on the quote unquote way up. I'm hoping, and I do better year than last year. I think we're going to continue to win more ball games than we did in the previous year. But this is the fun time, really, because, if it doesn't work out, maybe things didn't go the right way, or maybe a couple injuries here or there that kind of derailed the season. But, hey, we still got this player and that player, and we still believe in this, and it's going in the right direction. So you're kind of in a no-lose situation. We'll talk about that if it's August and they're 20 games under 500, I guess. But listen, this is the fun time of the rebuild, and it's great to care again about White Sox baseball, and I'm looking forward to opening day. Hell, it's going to feel like opening day this week. Christmas is going to be like 60 degrees around here. So let's go.
Get over to the grandstand. Get over to the ballpark. This Christmas break. See if you can get a Moon jersey. Get that made. Number 5. We got to
pick up your mail there at grandstand. It's backing up. They're like, where's Nick been?
Tell them I apologize.
They've had to lay off 9 employees because you haven't been there in a while.
I owe them a visit. I got to get back over there. I got to think about, oh boy, is this am I back on the season ticket holder program?
Oh, now are we breaking news? Now your rep got you, right? Rather quickly.
rather quickly indeed, and there's going to be some phone calls tomorrow that are going out to people. I'm saying reps will be calling humans. I got a flyer in the mail that I'm sure a lot of people did for the 10-pack, the holiday pack is what they're calling it. Get yourself 10 tickets, 10 games. I got to have more. I got to have more than that. So I'm going to have to sit down and really have to have some conversations with myself.
About yourself or your wife? Because if it was with yourself, it would be done already. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm a married man, right?
Right.
On a we have a budget. We have a household income. Those aren't decisions you're making unilaterally.
I probably they'll have to be. I will hide that in the entertainment budget.
Is that right? It's just a line item that's a hidden budget.
Entertainment.
I like that.
When we talk New Year in 2026, and we think about like things we want to do around the house, and maybe what's our entertainment budget? Oh, that looks like it's a little inflated this year.
I don't remember Dave Ramsey talking about the White Sox package, slipping that into the entertainment budget. But I'll have to reread the book.
Just something to think about. So will the Sox, you talked about those number 1 guys that did come up their respective pipelines rather quickly, and it's all based on the organization. Do you trust the White Sox organization, to handle Rock and how they're going to set him up for success and support him, and what kind of players will be around to help him out? There has to be proven veterans. We've been talking about it for years, and AJ Brzezinski on the Foul Territory program recently said something which I just absolutely loved. I love he comes at it from such a refreshing perspective. He just speaks what is, I think, on a lot of White Sox minds, and he doesn't care. First, this is from Getz, though, just on what his continued job is. It's our job to support these guys, but we're more focused on their continual development more than anything, rather than trying to plug holes with some of our players who can be here for a long time. Now, AJ on Foul Territory says, you've got to go out and get stars because that helps you win consistently, not hoping and praying that all 20 of your prospects turn out to be great players. AJ says the Sox need to bring in someone to reshape the organization's perception. Now, I don't think Moon necessarily does that. However, if free agents, players that are on the fence this year, going into next year, whatever, look at what the Sox are doing, and they look at their young core and they see, oh, wow, that's very interesting what the Sox did there. They're clearly identifying a position of need, and they just got somebody that was, highly touted. There were some suitors for Moon, and I could see maybe players looking at that and saying, "What's happening over there on the South Side?" Okay, but to AJ's point, That is number one. You needed to happen the last time we did this rebuild. Money was spent, but it wasn't the right type of money that was allocated. And this time around, you have got to go out and you have got to get guys that will shake things up. They will be the people that are on the back of their baseball card, so to speak. Like, this is my resume. You know what I can do. Okay. Mm-hmm. I am coming to the South Side and I am doing work, and I am going to help support and bring everybody else around me up to this level. And we are going to be a force, not only in this AL Central, but in the whole league. That's what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I saw a little bit of what AJ had to say too. And I think he had mentioned, there's always like those two teams where nobody wants to go to, and it's the A's and the White Sox. And I think about it in this way, in more of a hopeful way, over the past, before the Getz regime, it was the Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams show for 20 years, more than that, right? And we know, and I'm sure the rest of the league knew and players knew, the divide that was in between the two of them, the inability for Rick to really do his job, the Kenny Williams just kind of making trades without telling anybody type of things. I mean, those are all reasons why I think players would want to stay away. Now, the common denominator obviously is Jerry. And Jerry has done a really good job of making sure no high-profile free agents ever come to his basketball team as well. He's got a quote-unquote stink on him, I think. So that could be true. But I look at it this way in terms of free agency and also player development, Nick. There is so much fresh and new leadership in that building right now. I think we have to, I wasn't high on Chris Getz when he got the job, when he was quote unquote, hired. He was more or less just appointed and given the job. He didn't go through an interview process. But I can't sit here today and tell you that I really disagree or don't like anything that Chris has done. Now, he's done the easy stuff. It's trade your players and get as many assets back in return. Don't keep any of your high price guys, and you got to tear it down. That's the easy part. And has everything he's done worked out wonderfully? No, it hasn't. There's been some mistakes, but I got to tell you, I'm maybe pleasantly surprised with what I've gotten out of Chris Getz. And the fact that the young players have come up and they've been able to perform gives me a little bit of hope that there has been better development of younger players through the system that he was a big part of before he got the GM role. So again, it's still, I guess the jury's still out on the organization, the changes they've made, the leadership of Chris Getz. But I can't sit here and say that I'm unhappy with it. And I can't sit here and say that maybe things aren't really changing for the better.
There's a lot of change. There has been a lot of change. Luke mentioned it in the chat here. The coaching staff, I mean, some of the guys that have been brought in, a lot of new faces. Just recently, former Tampa Rays vice president and assistant GM Carlos Rodriguez has been hired by the Sox as assistant general manager, I believe. Just a few days ago. Yep. So, that maybe you're onto something, the Han, Kenny, that whole just cluster F, that thing that was just a quagmire that now the more, and boy, I hope there's a book that comes out one day or some kind of big tell all of like really what in the world was happening and who could talk to who and who wasn't talking to, and just that triangle of nonsense that was going on for so many years.
Great title, by the way, of the book, Triangle of Nonsense.
Triangle of Nonsense
story.
That's all gone, and maybe Getz and some of the people that he surrounded himself with have brought a different vibe throughout the league of, okay, there's some competency now. Okay. There's some sort of hierarchy. Things are happening in a normal way, even though we didn't agree that Getz should have been hired. it's maybe the structure is a little bit more up to speed than what other teams have been doing for a while. And the Sox are finally like, oh, yeah, this actually makes more sense. We should do it this way. It's a lot easier, less confusing. And I think ball players and other folks might benefit from this.
Yeah. And I don't want to say that and I don't want to speak for you, Nick. It's not that I disagree that he got the job. I just disagree with the process. I disagree with the fact that there wasn't any kind of,
right. Yeah.
Okay, let's bring in some top talented guys that are looking for maybe their first GM. And I'm not saying it's got to be a guy that's been a GM 1,000 times, but who was the best of the best? I just feel like it was lazy to just say, well, we're just going to, look down the hallway and say, Chris, are you busy right now? Can you come over here? We'd really talk to you about an opportunity to be the GM. And here it is. And just why don't you sign it? Because I don't have time to interview a bunch of people. So again, I can't sit here and critique Chris a whole lot. I think he assessed the organization. One of his first comments saying, I don't like our team. He was honest and truthful about that. I mean, he could have got it in front of the people and sugarcoated and like, we've got a lot of great young players here that we really like, that we've spent a lot of time with, that I think if we really gave them the opportunity, blah, 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 all the stuff. I don't like our players. I don't like our team. I don't like our direction. Yeah. Okay. I don't either. And neither do all the people that don't show up to the ballpark. Don't like it either.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some excitement right now. The thing that still gets obviously talked about is the Ishbida effect, of course. And what effect did Ish have any effect on this Moon move? I've heard a lot over, since the last time we've talked of, wait till Ishbida gets in and Ishbida starts dealing with things on a day-to-day. And, and I completely respect and understand that viewpoint. Forgive me though, if I'm not a little cautious. And what's saying he's not, or will, like, I don't know Ishbida. Has anybody heard from him in like his, mantra, his philosophy, how he's going to handle things as a White Sox owner? Nobody knows. He's not openly talking about it. Reinsdorf won't even acknowledge him, really. Why are we thinking that he's all of a sudden just going to just be throwing money at everybody?
Yeah.
We hope, because it's something different, right? But he might very well be very conservative.
Well, when you've got potentially whenever this sale happens, or the 2029, and there's your opportunity to all the really crazy language that's in this deal between him and Jerry, you've got him and his brother that are going to be, if it were to happen today, would be the second richest ownership group in baseball, behind the Cohen and the Mets. Again, just because you have money doesn't mean that you're going to spend it, but it gives you a little bit more of a, okay, I feel like now we're in a situation where it could be people that are, they've got more money than they know what to do with. All they would really care about is just winning. Because that's what the Phillies ownership cares about. Is it doesn't matter, the money doesn't really matter. They buy these teams because they want to win. These multi-billionaire type of people. They're not the Jerry's old businessman type of ownership groups anymore. These young billionaires, it's like, I didn't buy this because I thought I'd make a ton of money off of it. I bought it because I want to be part of something and win. So I guess that's all you hope for, but you really don't know, right? You're right, Nick. You won't know until that day when we're sitting there and you and I aren't going to be sitting there, and I don't think we're getting invited to the press conference, but maybe we will. You never know. Whenever we're watching it on TV and hearing what he has to say about his passions, what he cares about. I think he does care about this organization because, he's from here. And I think there's a real want to do right by this team. That's just the sense I get, but we don't really know until we hear what he's got to say. And we'll see. And then what he says and what he does are two completely different things. Like I've always told you, don't ever believe a person at a podium because it's mostly lies. So again, it's just kind of a wait and see on that, but I look forward to that day.
I look forward to the day because it'll be a different person in charge, a different name in the world of ownership. And of course, I hope that he spends and is always in those conversations of the top free agents. And we are in that mix, and we are going after coveted talent, and you can't rule the White Sox out because they are aggressive and they don't care type of thing. They want to build a winner. I hope, but I'm not saying like, well, once he comes along, all of our problems are going to be over. We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So just like appreciate the Moon situation right now. That's where we're living right now. If he's got anything to do with it, Ish, and we find out later that that changes a little bit. Are these the capital infusions right now? I don't know. 2 years, 34 million. I don't know if you need Ish to accomplish something like that, but again, there's excitement. Now, will the White Sox be at 35th and Shields, the next time that maybe that Ish is running the show? Is it going to be somewhere in the South Loop? Is it going to be somewhere along the lakefront? Recently, just this past week, there was some real chatter with the Northwest Indiana, with tying the Bears and the Sox to a Northwest Indiana move. I don't know if you saw this. I think this was in Sports Illustrated. Moving the Chicago Bears to Northwest Indiana for home games is now Plan C for the Bears after multiple failed attempts to keep the Bears in Chicago. Mark Ganis, a sports consultant who has helped with development plans for more than a dozen major venues, mentioned the team's interest in Indiana when he spoke to Sports Illustrated in September. Indiana put together a stadium authority. Their legislature passed a stadium authority for Northwest Indiana to try and attract teams from Chicago, clearly thinking about the Bears and potentially the White Sox. Those would be the options since there were no other options offered for the city of Chicago. You're maybe following this Bears thing with Arlington and all this other nonsense, probably more closer. But when I saw White Sox, I was like, I can understand that.
Yeah.
Northwest Indiana. It's not that far.
Yeah.
Talk to Steve. Talk to our man, Steve Peredzinski from Sox on Tap. He'll tell you it's not that far.
It isn't that far. And there's a lot of White Sox fans in that area. I've heard, I remember hearing this before they got the deal done to renovate Soldier Field. There was talk at the time of the Bears going to Gary, Indiana. That was a real thing. And that never came to fruition. I think that Indiana, Northwest Indiana is used as a bargaining chip a lot of times, maybe more so for the Bears than for the White Sox. But I mean, listen, I guess all of it's on the table. It is what it is when it comes down to where the team is located. If the Sox ever move to Northwest Indiana, I'm not going to sit here and pound on the ground and say I won't go and this would be the worst thing that ever happened. I haven't spent a ton of time in Northwest Indiana. I'm not sure where a great location would be. But listen, I think all of this is just part of the natural posturing and negotiation process between people that are looking to garner free money, right? They're looking to get taxpayer money. They're looking to get their taxes, reduced. Yeah. They're looking to get the best deal humanly possible. You can't get a great deal on anything, Nick, unless you have some leverage. And I think right now they're using Northwest Indiana, both the Sox and the Bears, as some sort of leverage. Whether it works or not, we shall see if anybody calls their bluff. But that's just the way I look at that. I don't get all hot and bothered about that. It's just, to me, it's just part of the process. Let me know for the Bears. Let me know when the shovel's in the ground in Arlington Park, and then I'll be interested. And for the White Sox, it's most likely going to be not. It's not going to be at 35th and Shields. I don't know where it'll be, but my guess is it'll still be in Chicago.
Is Soldier Field, is that out of it? That's not.
I just don't know. I don't. You've got to right now. I obviously there'd have to be a ton of renovation to get that to get me to think that's a good idea. Just on the inside of the ballpark, at Soldier Field. I mean, right now, guaranteed rate is a much better facility than Soldier Field is. Much better in terms of concessions, bathrooms, the whole deal. I mean, it sucks at Soldier Field. And it's a newer renovation, than guaranteed rate.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work there. Again, aesthetically, right there on the lakefront on a warm summer day, you've got the sky rises in the background. I mean, that's beautiful.
Moon Man hitting bombs in the Burnham Harbor.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah. Fun.
Hey, now.
It's all fun.
Yeah.
Logistically, nightmare. A nightmare.
It is. Yeah.
Unless we're all driving boats up there. I mean, you can't go a certain direction. It's a nightmare to get out of Soldier Field.
Well, if we play our cards right with these odds on the Sox, and we put some serious money down, we might be driving boats around town. You and I just, look at those guys. Look at those fat cats. That's Nick and Pat. They won big on the Sox. Just driving down the Stevenson in a boat.
Just something to do. We're bored.
Something to do. Let's go race our boats on the Dan Ryan. That'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. Well, this has been fun. This is the future is bright once again for our Chicago White Sox. Feels a lot like 2017, 2018.
Oh man, what was your ticket package in 2017 and 2018?
I was a season ticket holder, half season. Yeah,
half season. Well, okay. Well, I think calls are going to be had tomorrow. Expect your ticket guy to be on the horn with you. And I would just, I know you're off for the holiday, and I'm not sure if your wife is off this week, but you may have to conference her in if it gets real.
It could get real. I gotta sit on this for a second. But yeah, this was a fun episode right before the holidays here. And as you mentioned at the beginning, it's all because our team does some things. They fuel this, and the excitement of all the fans jumping in on this episode. The conversation was lively. The comments were great. This is why we have a fan-centric podcast for so many years, because we can fuel this thing along with the help of a lot of people when it's low, and it's been low. But when you have spikes like this of excitement, tangible things, real things, boy, you just feel it. You just feel like, what if this could go a couple tiers more, a couple levels more? Oh boy, it could be something that's really thumping, and that's what we dream about.
Yeah, this was fun, Nick. This is probably the most fun podcast you and I have had in a while. Not that all of them aren't great, but when there's content, it's great. When we've got as many people watching us live, which this is probably the most people watching us live that we've had in quite some time. And the comments, again, we didn't get to all the comments. I haven't had a chance to read all of them, but thank you for everybody watching, listening, and subscribing and sharing and all that great stuff. This will be the last, unless there's an emergency podcast that has to happen. This will be the last show for us for the year, if I'm not mistaken. Am I doing the calendar the correct way?
Yeah, you are. Our next episode, we'll skip next week unless Lou Bob is gone, and who knows? They bring
if Jerry passes, then we'll have an emergency podcast.
Sure, of course, that would be an emergency. But right now, the way it's shaken up, that would be the first Sunday in 2026. Would be that the 4th, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, at my calendar, I'm looking at right now, which I could pull up my phone.
Don't
we'll
worry.
Just figure it out. We're not on next week. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We'll see you in the new year whenever the first Sunday is after the new year. How's that?
There you go. That's clear. We got a quote of the week here in just a moment. Hey, subscribe to the podcast, like the podcast, pass it along to other Sox fans in your life. The audio available absolutely everywhere. Obviously doing the live shows on Sunday nights on the YouTube channel. And we're on socials at Good Guys TB. Hey, this was scouting director Mike Shirley after that avenue was realized and the number 1 pick was garnered through the excitement of the legend, Harold Baines. We were penalized a couple of years ago, so I do feel like this is our time, Shirley said. There are a lot of people starting to feel like, hey, this is going in the right direction. Let's make this our time. And we've got a lot of work to do. I hope it is their time.
It's like the Goonies. Remember that it's our time. This is our time down here.
I love that. I hope it is the White Sox time. I hope they continue to trend upward, no more plateauing, keep getting better. However that is, because this feels good. I like the excitement.
Feels good to feel good, buddy. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year to everybody. Like I said, and I can't wait to get back after it.
You know it. Hey, for Pat Hester, I am Nick Murawski. Until next time, go Sox.